Welcome into another edition of the On the TL podcast. All the Texas Legends insider info that you could ever want all in one place. I'm your host, Kyle Yeomans, the voice of the Texas Legends. As we continue on this NBA G League regular season, we're about a third of the way through the regular season schedule, and the G League continuing to be the ebb and the flow of the entire pro basketball schedule. It's been an up and down campaign so far for the Legends, but still lots of opportunity to see Texas in action. Out of the first 7 games of the NBA G League regular season, they've only had 2 home games, so they will be in Frisco at the Comerica Center quite often throughout the month of January, February, and then again in March as well. So lots of Texas Legends basketball to come up. I'm really excited about this episode. We've got a couple great guests on the horizon, one of which in Jamarion Sharp, whose 7'5" frame has already taken the NBA G League by storm in his rookie season. Played some time at Western Kentucky, played some time at Ole Miss under Chris Beard and such. We're really excited to have Jamarion Sharp on the team, and it's been fun to watch throughout his ability as well. Plus, this defense has been taken in a different direction with Sharp and what they've done at the defensive side of the floor. Right now, they are the only team in the NBA G League through the tip-off tournament and into the NBA G League regular season that has averaged 100 points or less allowed per game. They would be the first team in the NBA G League to average 100 or less opponents' points per game on average since the 2018 season. So it's been a long time since they've seen this level of defense, and it's been a brand that the Texas Legends basketball team has continued to rally around underneath Coach Sears, Jamarion Sharp on the inside. And then our second guest that'll join us momentarily, Cam Black, has been one of the architects behind this Legends defense. We'll get his insight on how things are heading in the right direction and his past that has led him to this point as a part of the G League and as a part of the Texas Legends coaching staff. But first, let's start things off with Jamarion Sharp, the 7'5" center, taking center stage. Excited to be joined by Jamarion Sharp, the center for this Texas Legends squad. And I say center, you're more of a patrol in the paint. 7'5", you've gotten off to a great start in your first G League season. So we'll start there, but what's this year been like and the transition to the next level been like for you?
Honestly, it was up to the rocky start because I went from college to the NBA to the G League. Mm-hmm. So transition from college to the NBA was a little rough because the pace was so much faster, and then like the spacing is so much wider. So like you really had to be in shape for that. So like as I got into shape, like and started being able to like adjust to the game, I just used that into my transition to the G League.
Yeah, and you have continuously gotten better as it's gone on. I mean, what's been the biggest key for you turning that around? That, like you said, an up and down start. I wouldn't even call it a bad start. You were just adjusting into the pro level. But what's been the biggest key of getting to that next level?
Conditioning. That's the hugest key. Because like with the different levels, there's different conditioning levels. So like you have to adjust to all of those.
Okay, so how do you adjust to that?
Working out, conditioning, running. That's all you can do, honestly.
That's awesome. Now, it was funny. Right before we were hopping on, you were saying this microphone does not look as big in your hands as it does in my hands at this point in time. I mean, when did you know that your size was going to be an advantage and allow you to have the career that you've been able to get?
Honestly, I absolutely knew my senior year of high school. And that's when I really started getting triple doubles, especially in blocks too. So I'm like, I know for a fact, like I can affect the game on the defensive side if I can offensive side.
So you grew up in small town Kentucky. Take me all the way back. I mean, what was it like growing up playing basketball? And is any of your family above 7 foot or close to that in terms of the size?
My dad, he's 6'10", but that's the closest that we're going to get in the family.
So are you the only – are you his only son? Or
yes, sir.
What type of siblings do you have?
Yeah, so with my dad, I'm his only son.
Okay.
And he has 1 daughter. Uh-huh. With my mom, she has 3 sons.
Okay.
Including me.
Got it. And none of them are even close to 7 foot?
My oldest brother, he had passed years ago.
Okay.
And then my second oldest brother, he's 6'5".
Oh, okay. So the size comes from – where?
Really, both sides, honestly.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah.
That's awesome. And like I said, growing up in small town Kentucky, when was the moment where you started garnering some attention because 7'5" doesn't just walk down the street in small town Kentucky.
I say going from my junior year into my senior year, that's when I started to hit 7 foot. So like once I hit 7 foot, and I just started to go out like with my mom, people would come up to me, like even people like I would think they'll know me because I grew up there, but apparently they didn't. They was like, "Oh my gosh, like how tall are you? Are you from around here?" I'm like, "Yeah, I was born and raised here."
Wow. So even going back and do you ever get a chance to go back in the
Sometimes
busy
I do.
schedule?
Mm-hmm.
So it's still new to them.
Yeah, extremely new to them, and it's crazy because like I guess because I've been gone for so many years, on off and on, that new people just move there, so like they don't know who I am. By the way.
Oh, okay, interesting. Now we'll get into your college career here in a little bit, but I do want to hear more about your family background. You mentioned your brother, and how close have you guys all been as a family? I mean, that's an interesting dynamic, and something. If you're still going back in that direction, means that you guys are pretty close.
Me and my brother are close, especially lately. But basketball really helped us get closer because he's obviously older than me, so he's been playing basketball way more than me. So once you start playing, my mom got me into playing. So ever since then, like it's just our way of connecting.
So did you ever play one-on-one?
Of course,
in the driveway.
Of course, I have. I remember one time it was back in college when I was at WKU. Me and him, he went up there to work me out. Then once we got done, we were just playing one-on-one, and we had FaceTime my mom. And it was just the best thing ever.
That's awesome.
It was the best thing ever.
Now, did he end up getting to play at the next level?
Nah, he didn't. He did 2 years at JUCO.
Okay.
And then he did 2 years at Eastern Illinois.
Okay, Eastern Illinois. I would consider that the next level. That's big time basketball in its own right. So, how proud are they of you of making the jump to the NBA and the NBA G League?
Extremely proud, especially because they know what I've been through in the past and stuff. So they're extremely proud of me for overcoming all this stuff and still be able to keep going.
How important was that going through the passing of your brother and having those people to rally around?
It meant a lot because everybody knows no matter what I go through, that I'm surrounded by people that I love.
Yeah. Have your teammates through the journeys and through the teams that you've had been those people for you too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's even guys from my JUCO days that I still talk to this day.
Wow.
And that's 4 or 5 years.
That's awesome. How cool. Now, your JUCO days, where did you play and how did you kind of end up in the JUCO ranks?
I played at a small town in Carterville, Illinois.
Okay.
It's called John A. Logan. And I ended up there because, let's be honest, in high school, my grades weren't the best.
Oh, okay.
So, I couldn't go to, no higher major D1 level. But looking back now, I'm actually glad that I went to JUCO because it helped me develop. It helped me prepare myself for the next level.
John A. Logan's a powerhouse junior college for basketball. I mean, there's a ton of talent. Even in the G League, they've put G League talent out there. NBA talent. Yeah, Scrubs is a guy who's played there before. So certainly something that you see on the list. You can say the same thing about Western Kentucky, though. When did they start taking some interest in you at the JUCO level and start recruiting you?
See, the most interesting about WKU is they was interested in me when I was in high school.
Oh.
Yeah, they've been interested in me before I went to JUCO. But as I said, my grades and stuff, so I couldn't really go. But they've been on me since high school, even my 2 years in JUCO.
Okay. And so what was it like getting to finally suit up for them and all that hard work had paid off?
Honestly, it was amazing. And the best feeling was I was able to play in front of my family. Because in JUCO, it was only 2 hours away, so my family couldn't come all the time. So with Western Kentucky, it was in about 45 to an hour, so they'll come to every single home game, and it was just the best.
That's so fun. How cool. And it's a great environment, too. I mean, Western Kentucky, they were in that Conference USA ranks. Actually, you played in your conference tournament right down the road from where we are right now in the Comerica Center, the Hoops at the Star era of Conference USA. I got to call games of Jamarion during those years, and so now having it come full circle with the Legends is always fun. But you guys had some great teams and played against some great players. I mean, we were talking of the stories of Kenny Lofton when he was at Louisiana Tech, and Tavion Kidsey when he was at Marshall, Josh Elmore when he was at Marshall as well.
And then we had Trey Jemison, too.
Jemison, who was at UAB with Jordan Jelly Walker, who played there, too. And lots of these different levels along the way. People don't realize how quality the basketball was at the mid-major level. What would be your message to those that don't understand that message and how tough it is to win games and to play well whenever you're having that type of competition?
Honestly, just go out there, do what you got to do, and play your role. Because if you do that, you're definitely going to make it far in your career.
And you certainly are an expectation and an example of that whenever it comes to that. JUCO to mid-major, then you transfer to Ole Miss to be a part of Chris Beard's first team at Ole Miss, and you make the move to Oxford. What was that transition like?
Honestly, that transition was a little rocky because my JUCO, I had one of my old teammates there, like from my high school, and then I also had like two girls from my hometown. One of them had to be my cousin.
Okay.
So I had them there to help me transition to JUCO, and then going into Western, it was easier because I had all my friends and stuff there. So Ole Miss, it was a little challenging because I didn't really have anyone there, but I've learned to build relationships and to navigate around, and like the people around there just made me feel home.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you were kind of on an island when you went to Mississippi. It's a different culture than Kentucky, different culture in the SEC than it is in Conference USA too. So how much did that help you prepare for the business world of going into pro basketball and having to make these relationships quickly?
Honestly, it was important because like Chris Beard, he actually basically taught me like to build relationships because like especially in like this type of business, because relationships go a long way.
Yeah,
they go a long way.
What was it like playing for Beard?
Oh, it was amazing. He's such a great guy. Like, if people say like he's a crazy coach, which he is, I would give him that he is a crazy coach. But at the same time, though, he expects results and he gets those results.
Yeah, they're playing well right now too. Just had a big win over top 5 Alabama in Tuscaloosa too,
and that's extremely hard too.
Yeah, they've played well. Now Ole Miss. You didn't play a ton at Ole Miss, right? Were you banged up with injury? What happened there?
No, I wasn't banged up with injury. I guess like we were just trying to see like what works for our program and stuff.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And you were a 2 times NCAA block leader at Western Kentucky. You've brought the same block party to the G League, by the way. The blocking element of the game, people don't realize being 7'5" helps, but it's much more than that.
Yeah, it's all about timing and how fast can you get there and how much ground can you cover and stuff like that.
How much have you had to rely on the coaches around you and some of the mentors around you that are good at teaching you the spacing, the timing, and the elements outside of just being a big man down low, but how to play like one?
Like honestly, like the way that they taught me was amazing because like I'm a hands-on type of learner. So like whenever we was learning, they'll always tell me like go here, then they'll show me where to go, and like it's just amazing. Like people, like these people around here that actually want you to succeed. They want you to do better. Like even if it's for the team or for another team, they just want you to succeed as a person.
How many guys have as big men? Former big men, even whenever it comes to coaches, how many of those guys have made an impact on your career?
Honestly, every last one of them. Even though it's only been 2, every last one of them has.
It's only been what? How much?
2.
Who were the 2?
My first one his name was Marcus Grant from WKU.
Okay.
And then I got Cam here at Texas Legends.
Cam Black, who will be on here a little bit later as well. So, okay, so only 2 guys. Why do you think that is? The fact that you've only had a couple of guys who have played in the post before and been down in the trenches getting to teach you at the second level?
That I don't know, but I would say that whatever the reason to bring them down to that level, I really appreciate that because those are the stepping stones to help me become the person I am today.
That's cool. Yeah, and there's nobody that knows how to play in the post like a post player.
Yes,
right?
Sir.
Now, if you were given the opportunity to have any skill set, no limitations whatsoever along the way, any skill set in the game of basketball, what would be that one you would want?
Well, I'm already working on my ball handling right now with Cam, which is getting better, by the way.
I'm going to ask him about that later.
I say just like me being able to control the ball, because like as a 5, like you don't really be able to like make plays happen and stuff like that. So with this next level, like they run plays through the 5, so I need to learn how to adjust to that.
No, it's interesting too because you hear of a lot of these guards and a lot of these forwards that are saying, "I watch this guy at the NBA level," or "I've watched this type of film in the past to kind of learn and take something for your game. There's not a whole lot of film out there on guys that are your body type and your frame that play at the level that you want to play at the end of it. I mean, there's probably right now it's what, Kevin Durant and Victor Wembanyama?
Yes, sir.
Have you watched any of those guys and what they've brought?
Yeah, I have. And honestly, like I aspire to be just like them, but I want to be more like them on the offensive side, but still be me on the defensive side.
Okay, what does that mean?
Like be able to handle the ball more, be able to like stretch to like the 15-footer and stuff like that.
And what does being you on the defensive side mean?
You know, just being active, altering shots, and just, you know, blocking shots, everything.
If you don't like watching defense, as a basketball fan, you would like watching Jamarion play defense. It is one of the more entertaining parts of the entire game at the moment for the Legends is seeing that happen. I keep going back, and I've talked about it on the broadcast a couple of times, but the 6 blocks that you had against Oklahoma City in the first 3 minutes of the game. I mean, when something like that is happening, and they keep challenging you and they keep trying to work you down inside, and you just keep swatting shots. I mean, what is your mindset in that moment?
Keep doing it. Keep doing it, please.
I like it. And they didn't. They changed their entire game plan.
Yeah.
They ended up playing that inside-out game. They played well, and they ended up winning the game, unfortunately, for the Legends. But, man, that stretch of time was pretty impactful to watch. So when you're watching these other guys and trying to build your game, do you think of of yourself in that same category? Do you hold yourself to that high of a standard?
I always hold myself to as high a standard as I can be, like, but I don't want to hold it like to where I know for a fact I can't reach it. So like, I hold myself to a very like standard. Basically, let's just say that. Like I know for a fact, like I just got to go out there and keep doing what I got to do, but not doing too much.
Are there any other guys other than KD and Wemby that you've been watching, trying to learn from?
Giannis.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Giannis.
Yeah.
Because like, he's truly inspirational, especially for me, because whenever he came into the league, he was about like my same size and stuff too. And as he got more got into, excuse me, as he started to develop more, like he started to get bigger and stronger. And I realized like if he can do that, I can do it too.
Okay, so how much of a challenge is that? Because a lot of people will say, "Oh, you've got the height total to you. You what are you 235?
235
ish. I mean, how much do you challenge yourself to put weight on and to continue to get bigger and stronger throughout your career?
I challenge myself a lot, mainly because with basketball, you know, we run all the time, so like we lose a whole lot of calories.
Yeah.
So I got to put those calories back into my body. On top of that, more calories, so I can like gain weight and try to sustain it.
So what's your normal meal routine look like? If that's the case, because you're like you said, you're burning a ton of calories. You're already at 7'5". What is your normal daily intake to try and keep up?
Intake, I don't know exactly, but I eat a good 3 to 4 times a day. So
Okay.
not 5.
So you don't have like a calorie count or anything?
Nah, not really. Just whatever I can eat until I'm full.
Must be nice. I like the idea of it. Are you a foodie at all? Do you like,
of course. And
Yeah.
I love to cook too.
okay. So what's
Yes,
your
sir.
go-to dish?
It really depends on what I'm in the mood for. I can cook some mean chicken Alfredo. You know,
Okay.
even though people say that's basic, like trust me, a lot of people can't cook chicken Alfredo.
Not like you though.
Nah.
Yeah.
I can make some lasagna.
Okay.
I can. I've made some pot roast before.
Uh-huh.
And just a lot of other stuff.
You use a lot of cheese in those recipes. Do you
Of
only
course.
use sharp cheddar?
Sharp cheddar, mild
Jamarion
cheddar.
Sharp? Yeah, I mean, that's just my question. I feel like everybody at home's probably thinking
We're
the same.
probably thinking it, yeah. It would make sense because my last name is Sharp and it's Sharp Cheddar.
Yeah, you see what I did there.
I like that.
Okay, you can cook those dishes. What is your go-to food? What do you like?
I love seafood. It's my go-to.
Really?
I love seafood.
Okay. So, like, if you're going on the road and you're in a good seafood town, what are you stopping down to get?
Crab legs,
Okay.
half a pound of shrimp, half a pound of sausage with 3 corns and 2 eggs.
Okay, so I think this gives us a pretty good idea of what the calorie count would be going into the normal day for Jamarion Sharp. Now, where did your love of seafood come from? You grew up in Kentucky.
Yeah, all right. So, and I would never forget this, like ever. So, like growing up, like I used to hate shrimp. Like even though I never tried it, I just hated it because the way it smelled and the way it looked. And so one day, my dad he forced me to eat the shrimp. Ever since then, I just been in love with seafood.
He
Literally,
forced you.
he forced me. Cause like that's another reason why I was skinny growing up. Cause I was a picky eater.
Okay.
I was extremely picky eater, and he was like, "Nah, not with this." So he made me eat it, and I'm like, "Oh wow,
Nice.
oh wow."
Okay, so you guys just got back from San Diego. That's a pretty good seafood town. Did you have any good seafood on the trip out there?
I did, but I got some best lobster when I was in Maine.
Maine, yeah,
That
that's
was good
true.
lobster.
I didn't even think about Maine lobster. They were the Red Claws before they were the Celtics. And they still
Right.
have like a green lobster as their logo. So
This was just crazy.
it was incredible. Lived up to the hype though.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
What's the best seafood you've ever had?
Best seafood, I say, which is crazy because it was in Kentucky, but it's it's this one place called Juicy Crab. Oh my God, it was so amazing. It was so amazing.
Nice little endorsement for Juicy Crab in Kentucky out there. I love it. All right, as we wrap things up, I can't wait to see you continue to grow throughout your career. It's been so much fun just over this year getting to see you take steps in the right direction to become the player that you are. What's your biggest goal as the year goes on? About halfway through the season now, where do you want to be at the end of it?
Honestly, just be the better person and man and basketball player that I am right now. My goal is to get better each and every day.
Yeah, take a step every time you get an opportunity. Jamarion Sharp joining us here on the TL. I'm going to have to find some crab legs the next time.
Yes, sir.
Get you a little go-to grab bag.
I was going to say, if you
one
bring
of
the crab
games.
legs, you're going to have to hide the cameras.
I love it. Sounds good. Jamarion Sharp, everybody, as we continue on the TL. Let's talk to one of his coaches, Cam Black. So, Cam, getting to coach a guy like Jamarion Sharp, and we just heard his story behind it, and being the big man and having a big man to coach him, the fact that you're only the second one to do that, that shows your versatility as a coach. That shows your skill set as a coach. I mean, how cool is that to know that as a fact?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, a lot with big guys, we have a lot of similarities. You know, being 6'10" myself and him being 7'5", it's like we both kind of grew up and go around hitting our heads on doors and can't fit on cars. And, you know, on the plane, if they give us a normal seat, like we're struggling, have to get to the exit row and stuff like that. So coaching him has been a pleasure. Kind of teaching him the game, I think early on, like a guy that's 7'5", they just throw him in the post by the basket. They don't really teach any fundamentals. They just have him block shots, finish around the rim. So now it's been a pleasure just working with him on ball handling, screening, different angles, finishing, and things like that. So it's been pretty fun.
How important is that? Because a lot of young players out there that have some size early and hit their growth spurts early in life are kind of thrown down low, and they're taught defense, they're taught shot blocking, and they're taught rebounding. They don't necessarily have the ball handle ability, and they don't have the shooting capability that some of these guards and smaller players might have on their way up. How important is it for young players, probably 6 foot and above, whenever they're playing in middle school and high school, to be well-rounded in the game as opposed to just being a post player?
You know, I think it's very important. I think for me, growing up early on, I kind of hit the growth spurt. So I started out kind of as a guard and was able to work on those skills. I don't think Sharp has had that ability because he's always been tall. Mm-hmm. So right now it's fun just teaching the game, the basics, the fundamentals, the ball handling. It's been great. And if he just keeps working on those things, I think he can progress to being a much better player. I think at the pro level, I think as he mentioned earlier, expect to play through the five. So dribble handoffs, ball handling in trail positions, things like that are very important. So I think if he keeps watching the game, growing, and figuring out those fundamental skills, he'd be much better.
Now, you've gotten to work with some great post players throughout the years. I know just over the last few years with the legends. You had Tony Bradley, who's an NBA veteran. Got to work with him a little bit. Going back a couple of years, Mogi was here, and a couple other guys like Banks from Texas that played well. I mean, what's it been like kind of seeing the different type of post player and the different type of center that you can kind of coach up as your career's gone on?
Yeah, well, I think everybody has different size in terms of height, weight, things like that. Everybody has different skills. What's been fun for me is to kind of watch each one of them and evaluate and kind of see where I can help them improve in different areas. And then I think with our workouts, sometimes I just go out there and kind of literally just make things up because I'm just trying different things out to see what will work and what will help each guy. So it's been a great experience.
Now, you still look like you can play, too. That's 6'11", a little bit of hooping as well. Do you get out there and you challenge those guys and back them down as much as you can?
Yeah, I think the best thing about being a big and coaching bigs is that we can get out there and wrestle a little bit. So sometimes I just tell the guys to check up. We'll just play one-on-one. I'll play defense. Sometimes we'll throw the ball up, have them get a rebound to finish through me. I have somebody playing pick and roll as the ball handler. I'll play in the drop coverage, and then I have the other coach hit them on the roll and at the play. So I think those kind of live game reps in practice or in workouts help them when it comes game time.
No, that's awesome. I love hearing that. I of course, have been out to training camp a couple times and seen some of the drills and some of the live action that you guys have put together, and you're not afraid, no doubt about it, to get in there and get your hands dirty. Where does that mentality come from? I know you played during your time at Bowling Green, not Bowling Green, Kentucky, for Jamarion Sharp earlier. Right. Bowling Green, Ohio, but you played there, had a great career. I mean, when did that mentality kind of hit that, hey, I'm gonna establish this?
You know, I think as a coach, when you can play a little bit, we can go block a couple shots. Then all of a sudden, Sharp is like, maybe I should listen to this guy. Cause I think the playing helps you earn a little bit of respect. And I think as a former player and a competitor, the competitive edge never leaves. Mm-hmm. So even when I say with Sharp or some of the guys check up, like I still want to get a stop. There's some days where it's a light practice. We don't want to hurt anybody, things like that. I may back off. But at the end of the day, when I check the ball up, it's time to guard. It's time to compete.
I love that. That's so fun. How's that competitive edge taking a transition into your coaching career?
It's been great because as a coach, it's a little bit different because you're not on the court competing during the game. But every time I have a scouting report, it's competition. I want to win the scout. I want to win every game. But I think for every coach who has a scouting report, it's a little bit of an edge. You kind of, as my scout, I want to win the game. I'm competing against a team. And also we're competing against the other coaches around the G League because we're all trying to make it to the next level. So every day is competition.
No, that's great. And you've been with the Legends since 2021. Couple seasons here and there. You've had some other coaches come through that have that ability as a big. I know Quincy Acey was here for a little bit of time. How much have you learned from the guys around you, whether it's Jordan Sears now as the head coach and some of these other guys that are on the staff currently, but even the guys that have come through here in the past, like George Gallinopoulos and Quincy Acey and some of those others?
Right. Definitely have to shout out George, giving me my first opportunity here. Mm-hmm. I think it's very important just to be a sponge. Like, you never want to go into a situation in coaching definitely where you think you know everything. You have to be a sponge. You have to learn from everybody. There may be some things that I like that George did, some things that I thought we could have did better, same thing in all the situations, but I take everything into one pot, basically everything that I like, and then hopefully when I'm a head coach one day, I can kind of let those things out and apply those things.
Yeah. Is that your goal? You want to be a head coach? Is it at a G League level or an NBA level? I mean, where do you want to be?
Just the opportunity to run your own organization, your own team is great, to kind of implement the things that you believe in and you like. So, whether it's the G League or the NBA or college, my goal is to coach for a living. So the level and that aspect doesn't necessarily matter. But, I definitely want to be a head coach and leave my imprint on the team.
That's awesome. And there's so many differences between each coaching level. Right? If you're a head coach at the G League, it's got a level to it and challenges to it. If you're a coach in college, it's got a significant number of challenges to it. Same thing with the NBA. What are the differences between the two throughout your time? Because you've been at least some level of coach at all three levels: NBA, G League, NBA, and then in college as well. What are the different challenges along the way?
There's a ton of challenges in coaching, period, just because you're the decision maker, and it's a 24-hour job. I think Some people have jobs where they get off at 5 o'clock and they kind of can turn the clock off. But coaching is a thing where, you're thinking about it at night and going to bed, and you're trying to watch a show with the wife and you're still thinking about the play or the ATO or the scouting report. So it's pretty cool in that area. But college is really the challenges of recruiting. I know it's changed a little bit with the NIL, but that's a big challenge dealing with kids. It's a challenge, and just trying to develop those guys every day. I think in the G League, the head coach's challenge is you don't know what team you're going to have necessarily before the season starts. So you got to kind of figure out those things. Another challenge is every other team, like, the players change every day.
Yeah.
It may be a two-way down, an assignment down, something like that. And then we have two ways coming back and forth as well. So the way we play without two ways may be different than the way we play with two ways. So it's a challenge every day in that aspect. And then from the NBA, what I learned is the biggest challenge is personalities. You're dealing with guys like LeBron and KD and things like that, where you want to be hard on those guys, but at the same time, you have to be able to relate to them and communicate that way. So there are challenges at all levels.
That's so interesting because along the way, you learn by your coaches. You learn from high school and middle school and AAU and some of these select leagues across the board, but it's so different when you do get to the collegiate level, and then so that from that point forward, you learn along the way, but you pick up different things as you're going. So now as you continue your coaching career, how much did your early years benefit that, or whether it was playing or even like you talked about even before we got on here, going on the video staff in Atlanta and learning from the Atlanta Hawks organization as you started through?
Right. Well, like I said earlier, just being a sponge from the playing aspect and coaching is very important. I think all the great coaches I've been around, I mean, I grew up playing for my dad, who was a great high school coach. Went on to play for Lewis Orr, who played in the NBA some as well. From then, I went to Akron, where Keith Denbrock was a great coach, amazing coach. Then I went to Atlanta with the Hawks, where Coach Budenholzer, everybody calls him Coach Bud, was a great coach. On that staff, they had Darvin Ham, Kenny Atkinson, Taylor Jenkins. I'm probably forgetting a couple. Charles Lee, a lot of great coaches. And then now here in the G League, I'm able to experience coaches who are kind of in their first steps in coaching and kind of going through that. So George going from like kind of the video room to head coach, being able to see that transfer, and the same with Jordan going from video room to head coach has been great. So just being able to learn from everybody has been great.
And you kind of having that video background as well, same kind of background that Jordan had early in his career with the Mavericks and a couple of other organizations. How much has that allowed for you guys to be on the same page coming from, and you aren't the only one. I know Coach Hines also has that same background from a video room.
Yeah, it's great because we've also worked for the same people and Coach Buzz, so in some areas we kind of relate, but just the video room in general is very beneficial for coaches just because you just watch basketball all day. I remember in Atlanta, my first start doing the video was watching like college, international, overseas kind of prospects and giving that video to the front office. So I was able to watch, every college that played because of all the players they were scouting. A lot of international basketball. Who the defense is different, the offense is different, the physicality and the pace of the game is different as well. Yeah, it's just a learning experience. And then watching all the NBA teams and G League teams, so you get to see everybody's offense, everybody's defense. And like I said, you just kind of put those things in your brain, and then one day when you get your chance, you're able to implement them all.
When you're getting a chance now to continue to put your imprint on this team, if there was a young coach out there, let's say they played at a high level and they want to continue working around the game once their playing career is over, what would be your number one piece of advice to start in the right direction and get into the coaching game?
Yeah, to start in the right direction, really, it just comes down to being a good person. Nobody wants to hire anybody. Nobody wants to suggest a hire for somebody who's not a bad person, who's not on time and doing the right things. From then, using your playing to your advantage. So it's one thing to be able to do the video, but then I can get on the court and play, which is also a bonus as well. But yeah, really just, and then the last thing is relationships. You have to be able to build relationships. I was able to get to Akron because of a relationship with my assistant coach. I was able to get to Atlanta with a relationship with my college coach. I was able to get to the G League from a front office member, and Malik Rose took the G League job, was able to give me a job there. The guys I worked with in Erie, they were able to suggest me for a job in Grand Rapids with the Drive. And then a lot of the guys I met from along the way suggested me to work for the Legends. So it's just the relationship piece is very important. That's how you get jobs in this business.
That's the journey that people forget about. Is it's not just sign a paper and you're a coach of a team. You've got to work up to that point and play different roles, whether you're watching a ton of video in the video room and then putting that in front of the front office. You got to be good at that too to really elevate out of it. So with all those stops along the way, Grand Rapids and Lake Erie and Atlanta and all these things, what makes the Texas stop different? What makes the Legends stop different?
Yeah, the Legend stop is different, number one, because it's Texas. And we're in Dallas and we're in Frisco. It's a great community. It's clean. There's a lot of things to do, a lot of places to eat. So that right there is great. The fan base is amazing. I coached in different arenas. We're going to G League where there's like 20 to 50 people in the crowd. But when we come out here for a Legends game, you never know, it may be 3,000 to 5,000. It's pretty exciting. The relationship that the Legends have with the Mavericks is great. Before the season, we go down and help out with training camp, and off-season summer league, we go down there for workouts. We can go to games, and we're very close. So those are the biggest differences between other teams.
And that relationship continuing to grow to the way that they've invested in the Legends and the way that the Legends have tried in return to invest in the Mavericks.
Right.
It definitely shows up. So I asked Jamarion about this. He said he was a foodie. Are you a foodie? You mentioned great places to eat in Frisco.
Yeah.
Okay. So where would you put yourself on that list?
You know, we cook a lot, man. So
Yeah.
I love the catfish. I'm cooking spaghetti and lasagnas and all that stuff. What else? Hutchins barbecue.
Okay.
is great.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great places. Sometimes I just go and try different things. I've never been into sushi, but I went to a place around the corner. It was pretty good sushi, and now I kind of like sushi. So
Nice.
a lot of things to do, a lot of things to eat. Definitely love the Legends, and what's great too is the business side is great. Been working with all those people for about 4 years now, so it's great interacting with them as well.
No, they do the right thing and they do it the right way, for sure. I love how sushi was one of the topics brought up after we were talking about crab legs and seafood with Jamarion a little bit earlier. I asked him the same question as we wrapped up on his side, but what's your goal as the season's gone on? Halfway through, still a lot of basketball left to be played. What is the goal that Cam Black wants to achieve by the time this year comes to a close?
Yeah, well, running the defense, I want our defense to be a top 5, top 10 team.
Right now, you're number 1.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
I think the guys are really buying in and kind of realizing what they can do individually, and then if they trust our defensive system, what we can look like overall. So I want our defense to be great. As a coach and myself, I want to keep getting in better shape, being able to keep getting out there and play with the guys. I want to keep growing my voice. And just in general, I just want to keep being a better father, a better husband, and just keep growing as a man.
So I mentioned this at the beginning of the episode, but the Legends defense right now would be the first team since 2018 to lead the G League in defensive or opponents' points per game average, and that points per game average to be under the 100 mark. I mean, what would that mean for you to have that mark moving forward?
Yeah, well, I think it'll mean a lot for our staff in general. I think Jordan being a head coach, but a defensive guy, a lot of guys that we have put a lot of time in to help with the defense. Tevin Brown and Jeff Gray have been great. So I think that'd be great for everybody involved. And I think going forward, if something like that can happen, it could all be on our resumes, and we can kind of push that moving forward to help us get bigger and better jobs.
And I believe the team that did that, I have to double check myself here, but I believe the team that was the last team to allow under 100 points per game was the 2018 Erie Bayhawks, who you were with at that. Were you there in 2018?
2018, I think.
It was either there or you were in Grand Rapids. So
I can't remember the exact years. But
we'll double check
we'll
it
double
along
check
the way.
that.
But Cam, appreciate you as always. It's
you.
been great getting to know you over the last couple of years. Always see you around, always having fun. And man, you guys, I can't talk highly enough of the staff and the amount of effort that you guys put into it.
Right.
You care, you really do, and it shows on the basketball court as well. So good luck the rest of the year, and we'll do this again down the line too.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. How fun was that catching up with Cam Black and Jamarion Sharp? Both guys so talented at what they do, and the point that they kept putting across is the fact that as a post player, no matter what level it is, continue to remain versatile and continue to be willing to learn. I thought that was one of the key points along the way that both guys wanted to illustrate, and they certainly do illustrate that night in and night out as a part of this Texas Legends bunch. Just like I said at the beginning of the episode, plenty of opportunities to see the Legends inside the Comerica Center. Go to TexLegends.com to check out the schedule because there are so many different options to be involved with Texas Legends basketball, whether it's the X's and O's on the court or as well as the entertainment outside of the court as well. That's going to do it for us here on the TL. Be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and then, of course, you can subscribe to the Texas Legends on YouTube. I'm your host, Kyle Yeomans. We'll see you next time.